BJ Penn needs no introduction, but here's one anyway. He's an American jiu-jitsu pioneer. He achieved his black belt in 3.5 years, and he was the first non-Brazilian to win a black belt world championship in the gi. He's also a UFC Hall of Famer and the second ever champ in the organization. Let's rate his strength and conditioning. Before we get to the stuff that I really want to talk about, I'll say that I like that he's getting the benefit of general strength and robustness by lifting heavy weights with intent. I also like that he picks smart off-feet conditioning modalities and that he doesn't appear to kill himself with middle intensity work off of the mats. What I really want to talk about today is his work with Marv and Gary Marinovich, a pair of strength coach brothers who made their names working with football players on the West Coast. While everyone else was focused on grinding out reps with the heaviest loads possible and traditional barbell movements, the Marinoviches developed a system almost in complete opposition to this. There's a ton of machine work to minimize learning time and just get straight to delivering stimulus to the body and adapting. Though there is use of isokinetics and slower speeds, most of the loading is relatively light with very high movement speeds and small ranges of motion. And to be honest, I really like this approach. When we actually watch sporting movement, it doesn't look anything like traditional weightlifting. Look at how much actual external movement occurs at the joints. Not a lot. All the interesting stuff is going on the inside. Whenever we make contact with the ground or an opponent, there's a massive eccentric and isometric contraction to deform the tendons and create stiffness at the joints to impart maximum force against the ground or the opponent in the limited time that we have available. And that looks nothing like a squat or a bench press, for example. There's also a strong emphasis on speed of relaxation, which counterintuitively is more strongly correlated with your level of athletic ability than speed of contraction. Both of these concepts are undertrained in traditional strength and conditioning, but feature heavily in BJ Penn's program. What don't I like? I think you can see a lot of the football emphasis spilling over into his upper body and torso training. The strong emphasis on the rotator cuff and big ranges of motion through the shoulders and creating rotation through the spine, both at very high speed and under light loads, just isn't representative of how we use these body parts in grappling. When you're trying to overcome a human being rather than a football, there's much less movement and a much higher demand on eccentric and isometric strength. What's ugly about this program? In my opinion, the balance and the foot muscle stuff. It's true that there is instability in sports like jiu-jitsu and we have to learn how to manage these forces, but look at the sport. The instability is coming from the upper body, not the floor. Likewise, I've seen very limited evidence to suggest that instability training transfers to performance in any meaningful way for athletes who are already healthy and not injured. However, I think when you're trying to push the envelope and leave no stone unturned as the Marinoviches were, there's a high chance that at least some of what you're doing won't stand the test of time. Nonetheless, there's a lot more about this program that I like than I don't like. It's ahead of its time today, let alone 20 years ago, and in considering the totality of everything that BJ Penn did in his strength and conditioning, I would award this program an A-.